Hey everyone, welcome back to this new chapter. In this chapter, we are going to learn about interface segregation principle. Interface segregation principle is first of all one of the 5 solid principles of object-oriented programming. It states clients should not be forced to depend on interfaces they do not use. In other words, an interface should be designed in such a way that it should contain methods that are relevant to its implementing classes, and those classes should not be required to implement all those methods that they do not need. You might not have understood from the definition. Don't worry, we'll see it from a small code example. Then we'll see what all are the flaws in it. Then we'll see the updated code, and at last we'll see where to use interface segregation principle. So here we have a small library action interface. This library has actions to add a book, remove a book, search for a book, moreover notify all the users who have been interested in this book. So this is a small interface which you can see, which we have built, already written. Now we'll build the class for this, which will implement library actions. So here is library class, and it will have to override all these methods. Simple small application. Now, what all are the flaws in it? So first of all, if you see library action, this interface has methods related to managing a book. All these 3 methods, if you see, are related to managing a book. And this library actions also contain method for notifying users also. All the clients might not need the notify user functionality. If I want library, I might not need this function, right? So this function is unnecessary for me, right? So you can see one of the issues. First is unnecessary dependencies. So now if you saw, if there's a client that do not need notify users as a functionality, then they are forced to implement notify users, which creates an unnecessary dependency that can lead to coupling between classes. Okay, this is one. Second disadvantage is code bloat. If you see, large interfaces will have many methods to implement. Now, if I do not need a method, for example, I do not need notify users, so I might have to give a default implementation or an empty implementation of this notify user functionality, which leads to code bloat. Third, there are problems in testing. So for large interfaces, testing would be difficult. Why? Because we have to provide mock implementations of many things that we might not be using. For example, if I do not want notifying capability, but I might have to provide mock implementation of this also. So testing is also one of the issues. Fourth, this interface is highly inflexible also. So I can see these 4 disadvantages. So now let's come back again to interface segregation principle. What did it say, if you remember? An interface should be designed in such a way that it should contain methods that are relevant to its implementing classes. Which means, if we see it here, all these 3 methods are related to managing a book, and notify users is a method for notification. So we should break this interface into 2 smaller interfaces. So now we have seen the disadvantages. Let's see the corrected code for this. So here you see a new interface, book actions, which has all the 3 methods related to managing a book: add book, remove book, search book. Here we created a library that will implement book actions. So only these 3 methods will be implemented by this class. Same ways, you must be wondering, where did notify users method go? So this method went into notification actions, and now notification actions would be implemented by notification service. So what did we do? We broke down a bigger interface into 2 smaller interfaces. Now this code is highly flexible because whatever my requirements are, I can take that. If I need notification service, I can. If I do not, I need not to. Now testing is also easier. Why? You see, now library class has 3 methods that are relevant, but in the previous class library we had 4 methods. It also had methods that some clients might need and some clients might not notify users. So I hope interface segregation principle is clear to all of you. Okay, now you all would be thinking where all to use interface segregation principle. So first, wherever we have large or complex interfaces, use interface segregation principle. Why? If an interface contains many methods or is very complex, it could be very difficult to maintain it or implement it. So always break down bigger or complex interfaces into smaller interfaces. Second, wherever we have multi-client interface, for example, if an interface has been implemented by multiple clients, in that case, it might not be feasible for all the clients to implement all the methods of the interface that we have. So, in that case, breaking down this interface is much more beneficial. Third, wherever we have third party interfaces. So, what do I mean by that? If an interface has been provided to us by a third party or a framework, it may not be feasible to modify that interface according to our needs. So, in that case, we create an adapter interface that follows ISP principle to provide more tailored interface. So, you must be wondering what adapter is. So we'll be learning about adapter design pattern where we'll be creating a full-fledged video. So you can watch that. So that is it for now. I hope interface segregation principle is clear to you guys, and you would be seeing us in all the chapters which we have going forward, social media, parking lot. You would be seeing proper services, proper DTOs. So you would see everything in application, everything in use in our chapters. If you still have any doubts, please post in the discussions panel below. We'll try to answer them ASAP. Thank you for watching this lesson. I'll see you in the next lesson.